Mom dies of rage when she discovers that the bride at my wedding has become Nellie Johnson, Harvey Fisher's business partner. My wedding turns into Mom's funeral the moment she breathes her last breath. Despite that, Harvey insists that the ceremony continue as planned. He even orders me to put the wedding ring on Nellie's finger. "Hurry up and put it on. I'll explain everything to you tonight," he snarls. I ignore him and leave the hotel with Mom's body in my arms. The wedding ends with a banging success at 8 p.m. Nellie updated her social media with a post that's liked by tens of thousands of people. "I finally married the light of my life. I'd like to thank a certain homewrecker for leaving after remembering her place." Harvey updates his social media with a similar post. "Those who are unworthy don't deserve to be loved." I like both their posts in the ice-cold morgue. I comment, "I wish you two a lifetime of happiness." Then, I head home with Mom's ashes. When I enter the house, I see Harvey holding Nellie tightly while making out with her. It was already late at night when I wearily returned home with my mother's urn. As soon as I reached the door, I spotted Nellie Johnson's high heels placed on my shoe rack. This wasn't Nellie's first time coming here. Ever since she became a senior partner at Fisher Group 3 years ago, she had often come over under the guise of business meetings. No matter day or night, rain or shine, nothing could deter her from her relentless ambition. At first I protested, but Harvey Fisher told me to know my place. He said, "You'd be the first one to enjoy the perks if the company makes money, and you're not even doing anything." After that, Harvey would give me the cold shoulder whenever I brought it up, ignoring me for days until I apologized. Back then, I still loved him, so I would try to comfort myself. But what I got in return was this urn, weighing no more than a couple of ounces. I stepped indoors with a cold chuckle. What greeted me was the sight of Harvey and Nellie kissing passionately on the couch I bought for our marriage. Her cheeks were flushed red under the dim lights, seemingly drunk as her body draped over him listlessly. Upon noticing my arrival, Harvey glanced at the urn I was holding before gently pushing Nellie away, placing her carefully on the couch. He then said, "It seems like she isn't faking it. She's really dead." Harvey stared at me condescendingly. He spoke in a comforting tone, yet it was laced with clear impatience. "Aren't you done making a scene yet? Fine. I'll tell you then. I feel bad now." Looking at him, I started laughing bitterly. When Mom fainted from anger, Harvey had accused her of faking it, even saying that it would be better if she really died. He then ordered for the wedding to continue. Now that Mom was really dead, he was now saying that he felt bad with that attitude. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I could finally marry Harvey, my childhood friend whom I loved for 20 years. I was even prepared to give him an even bigger surprise on this joyful day. Harvey suffered from oligozoospermia, and the chance of him having children was less than 1 in a million. His biggest dream was to father his own children. The Fishers went to great lengths in order to make his dream come true. His grandmother even became a nun, and dedicated herself to a life of prayers. As for me, I probably used up all the good karma I had built up over the years as a doctor. I was now pregnant with Harvey's child. The pregnancy test result intending to be a surprise was tucked in my pocket. But now, I felt disgusted looking at his face. I calmly said, "Let's break up, Harvey." Looking at his shocked expression, I slowly continued, "I hope we'd never cross paths again from now on." My love for him had completely vanished from the moment Mom died. I was planning to quietly leave tonight, seeing how Grandma had always doted on me, but he had really crossed a line this time. "Is it not enough that I'm feeling bad now? Do you want me to actually get on my knees to beg for your forgiveness?" Harvey grabbed my hand, agitated. He stared at me coldly, gritting his teeth just like when he demanded me to put the ring on Nellie's finger. "Know your place, Madison." I ignored him and pulled my hand away. I only wanted to pack up Mom's belongings and get away from this cheating couple. Nellie happened to sit up from the couch. At first, she was surprised to see the urn in my hands. "Oh my, is that Mrs. Lundell inside? How did she die so suddenly?" "I'm sorry, Maddie." She then turned to look at Harvey and started acting coquettishly. "I really like that urn, Harv. Can you ask Maddie to give it to me? The stray dog I had just died yesterday. It was so pitiful, so I want to use Mrs. Lundell's urn for it. Pretty please?" I looked at Nellie in disbelief. Harvey reached out to grab Mom's urn. "Give it to me. This urn is perfect for the ashes of a stray dog." Harvey was very strong, and it seemed like he was about to take away Mom's urn to use for his so-called stray dog. In a moment of desperation, I bit down hard on his wrist. The sharp metallic taste instantly filled my mouth. I felt so disgusted I wanted to throw up. Dang it. Harvey was seething when he threw a harsh slap against my cheek. I was only focused on protecting the urn in my arms as I fell, but my head slammed straight into a corner of the table. "Harv." Nellie anxiously checked Harvey's arm. She then turned around and looked at me with displeasure. "Why did you bite Harv's arm, Maddie? He cares about you a lot. It's just an urn. Don't you think he'd prepared something even better for Mrs. Lundell later?" she said. I forced myself to get up while hugging Mom's urn. Blood trickled down my face, dripping onto the urn. Mom cherished me a lot when she was alive, but the one she cherished the most was Harvey. At that moment, I completely lost it. Is that how he cares for me? By replacing me with a new bride at my own wedding and driving Mom to her grave? Don't forget what she had done for you, Harvey. Don't you remember who it was that rushed into the fire and got their face horribly burned, all just to save you when you were 7 years old? I yelled. "I just want to leave right now. Leave me alone. That's enough." Harvey strode over and grabbed my neck, pinning me against the wall. The overwhelming sense of suffocation made it hard to breathe, but what made me feel at a loss was his low, guttural response. "Madison." Harvey tightened his hold on me, expression twisted. "How long are you going to keep using this old worn-out favor as an excuse? Is the life you currently have still not enough?" With gritted teeth, he continued, "How dare you say that you're leaving? I've already felt guilty enough, so don't push it." My face was turning blue from suffocation. Tears and blood matted my skin, Yet I dared not reach out to struggle against him. I was worried that I might drop Mom's urn as soon as I let go. She had suffered a lot while she was alive. Now that she was dead, I wanted to save her the last of her dignity. Nellie walked over just as I was about to die from strangulation. She did not stop him but only said sadly, "Harv still loves you, Maddie. He only got married to me because everyone thought we were a perfect match. The company's stock price would only rise if we got together. But Harv also told me that you'll always be the one and only Mrs. Fisher in private. He's already doing so much, but why can't you and Mrs. Lundell try to understand him? Why are you focusing on the petty details instead?" I could feel Harvey's anger rising as soon as Nellie was done talking. "Why can't you just be understanding like Nellie, Madison? Why?" His knuckles turned white from how hard he was exerting pressure. "Apologize to Nellie, and I'll promise you this. Other than in public, you'll always be the one and only Mrs. Fisher in private." Harvey released me just as I was on the brink of suffocating. He looked down at me condescendingly, seemingly pitying me, but more than anything, it was commanding. Rage suddenly overwhelmed my sense of reason. "I've told you, Harvey, I don't care about being Mrs. Fisher." I stormed into the kitchen and grabbed a kitchen knife, swinging it at them. I only wanted to leave at first, but now, I want you dead. Just as I was about to strike them, Harvey spun into action. He shielded Nellie with an arm, before kicking me out of rage in the stomach, where his precious child was. I was sent flying into the bookshelf by his unexpected kick. Immediately, I felt a sharp pain in my stomach. Blood trickled down my legs, staining the ground red in an instant. I sat slumped in a pool of my own blood, my entire body in excruciating pain. But the pain was incomparable to what I felt in my stomach, the place that had once carried a new life. A coppery taste filled my mouth as tears blurred my vision. I stared at Harvey, who was coldly standing some distance away, and tightened my grip around Mom's urn. No matter how much I tried, I couldn't get up. I reached out a trembling hand toward my stomach before hacking out a mouthful of blood all of a sudden. Frightened, Nellie grabbed Harvey's arm tightly, her face pale in terror. "Stop pretending, Madison. I barely touched you. So, stop acting like you're about to die." Harvey stood arrogantly, his face dark as he irritably pulled out some tissue to wipe his shoes. Nellie teared up and looked innocently at me. "Do you think she might be pregnant, Harv? Look, so much blood is trickling from her legs. How disgusting." She covered her mouth and bent down, as if she was about to retch. Despite her obvious pretense, Harvey still got anxious and gently patted her shoulders. "Don't look if you find her disgusting then." He turned to me with a look of clear disgust. How could she be pregnant? If she truly was, she would have made it known to the public, just so she could use this as leverage for a better life. Harvey sneered, making known of his contempt for me. "She's truly a calculative person." A sharp cramp seized my abdomen just as he was done speaking. It was a pain that went deep down, as if every nerve in my body was being squeezed tightly by two small hands. The baby inside me was expressing its rage by twisting my intestines painfully. I coughed violently before breaking into a bloody laugh. "Look at what this is, Harvey." With trembling hands, I reached into my pockets and pulled out the pregnancy test report, staining it with blood as I handed it to Harvey. "I'll leave right after you finish reading it. I wish you both eternal happiness."